Hello, so today I am talking about Black Friday and how we can light it up to make it, well, a little less black. So as we speak, our inboxes are currently filling up with all of the traditional Black Friday emails, which does make me wonder whether people could be a little bit more original in their marketing. I just seem to be getting Black Friday deals, one after the other. Hi, I'm Donna from Goodfare, and I'm campaigning for a boycott on Black Friday and have done for the last couple of years. On our first Black Friday event 2 years ago, we were encouraging people to light up Black Friday and shop ethical instead. So why do I dislike Black Friday so much? It's not because I'm a Scrooge, it's not because I don't want people to get good deals, but where I do feel that the event does come under fire is it just really highlights all that's wrong with our current consumerism. Firstly, by encouraging people to shop on a specific day of the year, or as now it seems to be week, it really is counterproductive to reducing our impact on the earth. So really we should be encouraging people to buy things when they need them, not just because they are cheap. If we do end up just buying things because they're cheap, the problem that we'll find is that overall more things, people will consume more and therefore will lead to more waste. So the second thing I dislike about Black Friday is the whole kind of massive deal thing. I actually spoke to an employee of a retailer quite recently who was telling me that they bring in stock especially for the purpose to reduce it for Black Friday. It's kind of like sometimes even hyping up the prices in the first place. It all just makes the whole thing seem like a farce. So cheap production, cheap products is really what's causing a lot of the problems in our environment today. The demand to shop and buy things cheaply makes the less ethical producers cut corners, whether this be in the production, labour or ingredient sources. There are brands out there that are literally killing people just to get products to be delivered to you for as cheap as possible. By supporting these brands, that's only really going to allow them to continue practicing their bad business. And I get a lot of people saying to me, "Oh, but Dana, I can't afford to buy things if they're not on deals. I can only really afford it when they're on a sale." Well, my answer to that is to buy things secondhand where possible. You'll get an even better deal than you're probably going to get on Black Friday, and having something that's pre-loved can sometimes be kind of more special. You can often end up getting something of a much higher quality than you could have afforded in the first place for much cheaper. For example, I recently bought a bread machine. I was given one for my birthday, but it was like originally £250 machine, which the person who bought it managed to get it like £40 second hand. Works perfectly, absolutely in love with it, and I've really got a great deal on that. So at Goodfare, we don't really do deals because we feel like we've already set fair prices in the first place. It was always our intention to offer affordable alternatives for people. And I think as consumers, we really need to learn the true value of an item. Now, for example, I don't drink milk, but it's widely reported how farmers need to be subsidised to enable them to survive in the farming industry in the UK. Now, no matter what I think about the farming industry, it's fairly obvious to me that that's not right. A farmer shouldn't be selling an item for less than it costs to make, especially when we're talking about the animals actually losing their lives as well. For less money than it's costing. Just the whole thing just seems completely wrong, and really we shouldn't be supporting that kind of production in that way, and by buying cheap, that's what we do. So overall, my message is really that we need to be buying less, we need to be making better, more ethical choices about the products that we do buy, and we need to be asking questions. Your really cheap product, who or what had to suffer to get that product to you at that cheap price? And then ask yourself, well, was that worth that suffering? It might sound obvious, but for example, if you buy a jumper from a retailer and it costs you £1, will you actually value that item? Do you really care when that turns to rags or it just falls apart? Or do you justify it by, well, it only cost me £1, so I'll just throw it in the bin and forget about it? Now, if you'd paid £100 for that jumper, you'll treasure it, it'll be special, and when it comes to the end of its life, you'll be more likely to consider what to do with it rather than just maybe throw it out. Better still, buy that £100 jumper secondhand for £10, and then you've just got yourself a really great deal. It's a ridiculous concept when you think of it, like a machine, like a printer, which really we can buy sometimes cheaper than the ink to put in it. And then one tiny little fault on your printer puts that machine out of action, meaning that it's now cheaper to go and buy a brand new printer rather than fix maybe like a button that's broken on it. That whole concept is just ridiculous. It just creates waste. Or, for example, when you have an iPhone and your screen breaks and you've had your phone for 2 years, so you're out of contract, it's then now cheaper to go and maybe buy a new contract than get your iPhone fixed up, even though that phone's probably got another 3 years life in it. So my main message, try not to get carried away with any of the deals on Black Friday. Ask yourself, do you really need it? Consider your purchases and just generally become a more conscious consumer, because this is how we're going to tackle the major problems that our planet is facing. Shop local, of course. At Good Fair, we're not going to be celebrating any deals on Black Friday with any deals or offers, but what we will be doing is donating a tin of soup to a local charity for every sale in our shop made over £10 on that day, whether that be online or in the shop in person. So really encouraging people to make ethical choices and avoid deals. And one last tip that I've got for you, if you really want a product, write it down on a list. Keep that list for a year. If you still want it after a year, then you want it. If not, then maybe you didn't need it. So I hope you all have a great weekend. Remember, let's bring some light to Black Friday. Shop ethical instead. Shop local. Thanks a lot.